Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. This is Gina again. Today I am going to do a double page spread in my art journal. It's a bigger art journal that I have. I haven't done anything in it for a while because it's really big. So I'm cheating a bit. I'm using a cutout from a magazine, somebody's face, and I'm just taking some tracing paper, put tracing paper over it, and I'm just tracing out her outlines, her main features. So that would be her eyes, eyebrows, nose, lips, the shape of her face. I'm using a CD marker because it's waterproof. So here we go. Let's see how the papers. I don't know, maybe my lighting wasn't all that good, so I had to keep lifting up the page to make sure I was going in the right direction, and I wasn't really making much mistakes. So, aside from doing the face, I honestly wasn't sure what I was going to do next. I just knew that I really wanted to try a face because I'm not very good at drawing faces at all. So, that's why I'm cheating. Right, so I just made her a bit, made her stand out some more, and I just ripped around the edges of her face because I'm going to stick it down to the page. But before I do that, I'm going to put some color down. So I'm using acrylic paint, and this is by DecoArt. You could use any paint you have, any colors of your choice, but acrylic paint, once it dries, it doesn't run once you add stuff on top of it, or more liquid. So I'm using the acrylic paint. I just add colors that I think would look nice on the page and complement each other. I'm using a regular makeup sponge to apply the paint, just putting it anywhere haphazardly. And remember, these are 2 pages, so sorry about that. I didn't realize the camera was so close. I needed to get the whole book. I was accustomed to working with my smaller book. So I'm all done putting down my background. Now I'm going to add some more background texture by stamping with ink. This is a piece of foam, a pattern foam that I got in a craft store. It's very cheap, and I just stuck it to the back of a cardboard and I made my stamp. Making sure it's dry with my heat gun. And now where I'm going to put my face, I'm just going to lighten up the background so you will see the color through it, but not as much, because I really want the face to stand out. So just only where I'm putting the face, I'm just gonna put some gesso there. I'm just trying to make sure that I put everywhere it needs to go. So I decided she needed a bit of a border, so I'm taking out my compass. Or is that a protractor? I think it's a compass. And I'm just drawing some circles, but it keeps moving. So I'm ending up with several lines of a circle. And I knew I couldn't really erase without really damaging the background. So I'm just continuing, going with the flow. It was not intentional to have so many lines. It was just supposed to be one circle. But I left it as is. So I'm using a regular marker, and it's by Faber-Castell, and I'm just highlighting those lines. As best I can. Permanent marker. And her face fits, and I'm pleased. Now I'm going to make some circles. So I'm using ink at first to make my marks, but it's not really coming out the way that I want. You can hardly see it. So I decided to use paint. Acrylic paint again. This one is by Studio. It's a huge tube I got. Well, it's not huge, but it's a tube I got many years ago. So it's lasting really long, and I love the color. So I'm painting the edge of it. It's a regular cover. I think I got it off of a tamarind sauce bottle. And I'm making, those marks are much nicer. So I'm making my circles just randomly over the 2 pages. Yes, those are much, much nicer. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to speed up the drying process because it's taking a bit long. I really didn't plan on all the smudges, but I kind of liked it, so I did all. Instead of continuing to dry it, I decided to wipe all and see how much smudges I could get. And you see that outline that happened there? I love it. So what happened is the outside dried and the inside was still wet, so I was able to wipe up the middle. Oh, I ripped and I marked my face. Didn't know if that was going to go well. I smudged my face because my fingers are dirty. So if you decide to try this, just be careful with your fingers. So I'm going to stick it down with Elmer's glue. I'm using the sponge to spread the glue evenly so it will stick nice and even. There'll be no bubbles and randomness happening, ickiness. I wanted it to go down as smooth as possible. My page is actually, I think it's 3 pages stuck together. When I first made this book, I stuck the pages using regular Elmer's glue, and I applied it way too wet. I was now starting out, now trying things out. So all my pages, most of my pages in this book are very wavy. And I said I would still use it because it adds texture and I kind of like it. So I use it still, I love it. So now I'm applying Mod Podge over it to help it stick even further and give it a nice shine. And I plan to apply paint on her face, and I know that paint goes down well on Mod Podge. So I think I should try it over Elmer's glue and see how it works. But I know it goes down just fine over Mod Podge. So I'm just making sure the edges are I want the edges to be blended into the page. And her face is down. Now I'm trying it. And I needed to put something on the other side of the page to help it be more balanced. And I decided to put some words. I'm using my awesome stamp set. Love, love, love it. So I sped up this part for you in case, it's kind of boring to watch for some of you. And if you want to skip it, you could just fast forward to after I finish stamped all my words. But I sped this part up. So now I have my words and I just ripped around the words to get a rough edge as well. And I'm trying to see how it looks on the page. Still trying to make it even smaller. Again, I want this to blend into the page so all you'll really see is the words. For this one, I'm actually using a glue stick to glue it. So it's tracing paper, it's really thin, and when you apply the glue stick, it kind of gets even thinner. So I'm just smoothing that out. And it worked fantastically well. I found the words were too light, so I'm just going over them with a marker, hopefully one that writes well. This one's sticking. And I decided to wait till that's dry because it wasn't working well because it was wet. And I moved on to the other page and I decided to try for the first time ever painting a face. So I'm just looking at the picture that I cut out and trying to use the colors that I have that I think could match her face and laying down my light colors first, and then on top would be my darker colors. So in the picture, she looks like she has some shadowed areas. So I'm just using a darker brown to see if I could add some color in those darker areas and try and blend it in at the same time. I've never done this before, first time. So it is very scary, but I said I really wanted to try this. So I'm trying to keep things wet so it could move around and blend, so you wouldn't see all the lines where the light starts and the dark begins. So I'm just looking at the picture as I paint and putting in the dark colors where I see them. And then I keep going over some of the same areas. Yeah, whoa, that was intense. Anytime I find it's too much, I'll just add some more water. I'll add some more color. I'll wipe away some. Yeah, it's a lot. So here I switched out my brush for a thinner one so I could do the fine detailed work. I'm doing her eyes. I'm just gonna add some details all over her face with the darker colors. The other brush was too big and I couldn't get in there as cleanly as I wanted to. So I'm just adding some more shadows. Oh, that was a bit much. Just trying to add more shadows and more definition. to certain parts of her face based on the picture that I have in front of me. Getting her lips more defined. This was so hard for me. Getting her eyelashes in. Getting in her eyebrows. Because they got covered up with all the paint. So I'm just adding it in again. Much better. Oops. Adding in some more shadow based on the picture. Trying to spread it, but it's hard. Yeah, she's taking shape pretty nicely. Kind of surprised by how she's turning out. I found her eyes were too bright, so I'm adding some color. It's a bit dark, but now one eye looks darker than the other. Nice. I'm liking that. And I put some color in her white where her eyes are supposed to be white. I found it was just too white. It looked too strange. Putting in the pupils. And some more details. Quite enjoying this piece. I think I should practice some more. Now I'm adding in some color around her face because I was still seeing the line from the tissue paper, and also I wanted it to blend back into the rest of the two pages because it's supposed to be one page. So trying to get my pen to work again. It's dry now. Sorry about my hair being in the frame. And yeah, I did all. And there you go. So now I'm trying to put a little border around my words. I'm trying some string, some thread to help it stand out more. My words are, I will not give up. These are some edges of some catalog cards that I have, and I decided to use this as my border. Adding some color to it just to blend in with the background while helping it to stand out as well. And I have excess paint, so I'm just putting it into my regular small art journal, spreading it all over the page. Yeah, we don't waste paint. It will be used. It actually was used. Yes. Now I'm adding some more color to my frame. I have some more excess paint. Oh, and I'm adding some more color to her lips. Oh brush sheet actually turned out pretty well. Pretty nice. This is some very cheap watercolor paint I have, and I'm just putting a border around the border on this page. Give it like a shadow effect. Inside, on top and outside. Yeah. Just adding more and more shadow, trying to fade it out and make it stand out at the same time. So I'm adding more black around the edges. And I decided to make my circles stand out some more. So I'm just adding some color, some black again, to the certain parts of my circles, which would give it a shadow. So I'll add the darkest part to the edge, and then I'll fade it in as it goes inside of the circle. And because I started it on one side, in one direction for one of the circles, I have to do it in the same direction for all of the circles, so they will look uniformed. So all my shadows are going to the left on the inside. And that's pretty much how I've ended the page. So thank you all so much for watching again and sticking it out with me and learning with me as I try new things and trudge along. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all will try it as well, or something similar. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Hopefully it will be much sooner than this one came. But you all take care, and thank you again. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.